Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for clicking on the video and thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. So I have a message here, bit of encouragement, direction. In the very beginning, I heard start again, which I did a video a little bit ago. I'll probably tag to this one. I then closed my eyes and I was rushing through a book, but I wasn't, flipping page for page. I was like physically going through the book. And then I got to this space where I would almost describe it like it was like an old book, kind of like how they would frame a picture with like all the designs around it, and there'd be writing underneath. And that framed picture was blank, but I was in the picture, but not in form. And it was almost like as I moved, uh, the writing utensil would move, and at the same time, letters were coming out underneath it. And it really comes down to writing our own story. At this time, I was having like a lot of jaw pain, my neck, my shoulders, and then it was leading to a headache. So a lot of tension, a lot of stress. I then asked, I could feel somebody was here, presence. I was like, who was here? And I heard, being the author of your, excuse me, being the author of your own story again, which uh, comes down to really taking control of things, not allowing the external relationships or situations to direct us or to lead us in a way. We'll get into it with the cards that explain a little bit more. But Anubis did come through for a transformation, but not in a way of a transformation of just a change, but a change that leads with growth. And when we really dissect that word, what is growth to you? It is not just getting older or acquiring new things. It is coming to a realization of something. And that is being the author of your own story, which I'm sure we've heard a lot, but have we ever really embodied it? Have we ever really taken control and be that pen that is drawing the picture and allowing that picture to translate into words on the page? So our first card out was Queen of Wands reversed, excessive control. This is where all this tension came from in my, in my upper body, and that's enough. At least when I experience that, it's enough to be very debilitating, make you miserable. You can't open your eyes very much. Think you're very sensitive to things, and in essence, it's self-induced. Yes, there's circumstances, and I've heard before. Someone says our experience here isn't difficult. Our human emotions make it difficult, and that is very true. If we didn't have those, nothing would bother us, of course. And in our quest here, uh, I would say mastering those is the ultimate goal. How could it not be? That is energy and motion, and when we master those, we can uh, handle experience and go through life completely differently than when they're attached. Our next card then was Seven of Cups, dreams and desires. We could look at this two different ways. Maybe we are kind of far-fetched in our thoughts, and it's very difficult for us to get to them because we have a very rigid structure. I spoke about this a bit ago, and when we put so much energy onto it, has to go this way. Obviously, anything that comes in that may be slightly off path or not how we saw it, we're going to reject it. And when we're so rigid like that, obviously we're going to put a lot of pressure on it that it has to be this way. And maybe we are being very impatient about things as well. Or, getting into our next card, Ten of Pentacles reversed, maybe we went down a path and we have a financial setback, or we're not where we want to be. And I forgot to mention on this book, being that I wasn't physically flipping through the pages, it's memories. And maybe we're looking back on, I did this and this knocked me back, or I did this and I wasted this amount of time and I should have done this sooner. And we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. I don't want to say resentment, but that's what came through. Maybe we're resenting others for following their choices or actions or direction and not ourselves. We were giving up so much of ourselves in situations, thinking it was for a better reason. What just came through is like, say we were in a romantic relationship or even platonic, and we're giving so much love into something, true love, while the other is motivated by alternative motives, and we're giving up ourselves. When we give up ourselves so much for a relationship, we might come out of it not knowing who the hell we are anymore. And looking back through this book, Memories, and understanding that and saying, okay, wow, I'm gonna paint my own picture. I'm gonna be me and lead with my goals and ambitions and my dreams. But being reversed doesn't mean it's out of sight. We could also be holding ourselves back by this excessive control, which I know no one wants to hear. I've heard it plenty of times. And it's not such a great thing. But when we actually take the time to look into things and really look into it. I mean, I'm going to get into that a bit later, of what truly is important, what truly needs to take place for movement, whatever that may look like. Our next card was the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Temporary delay. Again, who wants to hear that? But we hold the power here. How you can let go of this control is up to us. It really is. Like I said, I'll get into that. I'm a little early to talk about that. Missed opportunities. Ace of Pentacles reversed. This could be these memories. Looking back. Why didn't I take this job? Or why didn't I do this sooner? And we can place a lot of blame on ourselves for these delays and get very frustrated. Obviously, that's going to change our vibration in general. And we're going to be in a very dim spot that's going to reinforce that. We're going to keep seeing things to reinforce that. To have that trust and trust in ourselves, let alone the universe, if you look at it that way, to help you, to propel you forward, is difficult when we're going through a troubling time. I asked then, what can we do moving forward? Letting go of the disappointments. 5 of Cups. We can dwell on those, or we can let go and move forward with painting our picture. When we truly do forgive someone or something, or even ourselves, we're washing our hands of that. I'm not saying what took place is okay, but we're removing our energy from that. Otherwise, we're just dumping our energy into it. We're giving that away. We're giving it motivation to keep existing. And that's fine if we're in a place like that. But we have to let go to move forward. We need to make room. Otherwise, we're still there. We're in victimhood, however you want to look at it. Our last card was Knight of Cups, Inspired Pursuits. It's what we're supposed to go to. When we look at, maybe this is a little thing you want to do at home or wherever you're at. Let's look at what's holding me back, or what could change that would be actual growth. So to do this, we're going to remove everything that we're probably after. We're going to remove the invisible glass ceiling. We're going to remove money. We're going to remove material, homes, cars, remove all that. And what's left? Relationships. Let's remove all of that. It doesn't matter. And this is difficult because we're going to see what actually drives the situation of what we actually want. And then we'll rebuild it back up. So with all of that removed, what's left? It's us. And we'll look at our emotions or our self-limiting beliefs and confidence and things like that, which are holding us back to get whatever these things are. And what's really there? If none of that mattered, if none of it existed, and I may even have trouble trying to explain this because it's what our mind goes to. We're in matter, we're in earthly, we are looking for possessions of some sort. Money, however you want to look at it. And when we remove all of this, what is left? Where are you hurt? What is limiting you? Do we have the confidence to do anything? Do we have the confidence just to go out in public and feel accepted? Are we concerned of rejection? Do we constantly need reassurance? All these little things could be holding us back to whatever it is. Like, now let's rebuild it. Say you want to have a business. Are you okay with failure? Are you okay with being rejected? Are you okay with not everyone liking you? Are you going to be okay struggling financially while starting this? Does it have to be rigid and structured perfectly how you want it to be? And if not, you're going to feel like it's a failure. Are you okay with criticism? That's productive. All of these things. Now let's just look at a relationship. Are we still hurting from a past relationship? Are we still carrying something that when we get into a relationship again, we're going to see things that emphasize or relight that wound that we never healed? Have we truly healed it? We can go back into childhood. Things that may have taken place as, through our lineage or our parents or our circumstances. Were we always financially in lack, and we're still carrying that mentality? Let's say we actually do have money, but we'll never spend it because we never had it before, and we're afraid that it's going to go away or something horrible is going to happen, and we're not going to be provided for or able to provide for ourselves. Let's just look at the emotional aspect of that and say we were always had the finger pointed at us no matter what. And we walk around thinking everything that's said to us is an attack, when it's really just our wound reflecting back to us. And then something came in and I forgot what it was. Going back to this, say we're a people pleaser. And all of our life when we were writing this story, we were doing things to keep people happy. And this can be in multiple different ways of just say there's negative situations and we're always trying to put the fire out and make everything okay. And by doing so, we never have a say in anything. We're just extinguishing a fire versus, actually having an opinion or saying our mind and staying in these toxic situations because we feel like we have to help someone or it's our purpose. How is that a service to us at all? When we come back and write this story again, starting at this foundation of ourselves, where did we hold ourselves back? Instead of looking back at disappointments and anger and frustration and sadness, look at what we saw. What did all these people do? All these situations do that hurt us? Write those down. Okay, they did all these things. And if you can't figure out what the opposite is, look it up for that word. And be like, okay, well, I need to be this. Or I need to introduce this into my life. And build it that way. I never thought of that. That's what came through. Interesting. If we look at the opposite, because everything's duality, we all love to dwell on the negativity so much. And it's what hurts the most. We never really remember good things, or it's not good enough. It's not propelling us forward because we're still carrying this negativity or this damage, whatever it may be. So let's look at the duality of it. Let's write down the opposite and see how we can embody that or introduce that into our life or create that as a boundary. And by doing so, if we never have, it's going to be very difficult. But with a little effort, and we're going to have to be okay losing some things from our old life. This is a new story. We are the actual artist or the writer. It is in our mind. I didn't have to use a pen to do it. I used my mind. And we can do this and propel ourselves forward of what actually truly matters. And let's think about that. Really, really think about that. If we remove everything, all the material, what really matters? What's still hurting? I know money helps. I know. It's not like I'm living a lavish life myself. But yes, I do have running water and food to eat. But what really, really matters, and that it's a conversation I don't think many people can have, or at least I haven't been introduced to those in public to have those kind of conversations. It's a lot of people are in the way that I was raised, or the life that I experienced for most of it until I came into this world. And it is difficult to leave that space because everything around us reinforces it. It does. And it's the structure that we're building. But when we actually take a chance to go in and find out what really matters, what's limiting me, what am I hurt from, what hurts me, what hurts my feelings, whether angry, sad, embarrassed, shamed, look at those things. And then we can start to rebuild and see how they're affecting what our actual goals are, or what our dreams actually are. What is holding us back? And it's this wound. And once we figure it out, we can look up the opposite, embody it, and move forward. I'll leave it there, guys. Wish you all the best. If this resonated or you liked it, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. See you.